Okay, fam. You guys enjoying my new production I've got going on here? Oh, this is wonderful. The YouTube channel is growing and we're getting more efficient and we got cooler stuff. So we got some cool art and graphics for you and different things that we do. Those of you who have been in my live streams have seen it. Guys, it's your boy Chadsky here. And I love doing these videos. And I love doing videos with real rock life application. That's what I like to call them, right? Real rock life application. Like, yeah, not just talking about attributes or talking about different things. That's actually going and doing things and how you're able to apply it to your account and try to relate to you in your account. I did a tier list the other day for infantry marches, and it's not just a hey, what's the best infantry march? It's a hey, if I don't have Ragnar, what do I run? I don't have Green March, what do I run? And those are the kind of things I like to do for players and really help them out. So with that being said, let's go into this and let's get this thing cranking. I'll bring this off real quick and I'll go ahead and get in the game here. So with that being said, let's talk about this. We get to talk cavalry today, and cavalry's my jam. That is my freaking jam. I think it's the best. I think you got a lot of commanders. You can run 2 meta marches no matter how you run them. And we're probably splitting hairs here with this tier list, so you can kind of get an idea for yourself and whatever your preference might be. But I'll just give you what I would pick and what I would choose as being a cav commander with a ton of kills with my cavalry. Huo already racking up the kills, almost to 100 million kills with Huo. My Nevsky, oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about how many, 142 million kills with my Nevsky. So I use these commanders a ton. And Joan, here's my girl. I mean, she is my girl, 105 million kills. So I use cavalry. I use the heck out of it. And I've already started rocking and rolling with Beli, okay? 33 million kills. He just came out not too long ago. So I'm hammering with Beli, and I'll give you all the different commander pairings and that kind of how to set this thing up, okay? And with that, I'll go into a tiered list that I've got, and I'll put together my 1 March tier list, okay? Now let me move this stuff down because I was kind of working with this a little bit. If I was going to put together 1 March, and basically this unlimited means I have 2,000 gold heads, right? And I have no cav commanders. Who am I using? Who am I using and how? Okay, and that's what we're gonna talk about. Ready? We're gonna go through this and we're gonna say, okay, Nevsky's amazing, guys. He's amazing, and he's been great for so long. But me personally, even with some skepticism on Huo when he first came out, you know, being single target, I'm all at 1 March. This is what I'm going with. I'm going with Huo and my girl Joe. Okay, that is my deal. That's my jam. I think it's amazing. I think it's massive damage. I think the skill damage boost from Huo is amazing. He's got the debuff of the march speed. He hits like a truck, and at the same time, he reduces that rage to 850. There are so many synergies with these two that it is absolutely wonderful, and it's fast. You can get out of trouble quickly. This is the march I would go with if I had it all to do over again. Clean slate, 2,000 gold heads, the 1 March. This is what I'm getting. Okay, and I'm all in on that. All right, and so we're talking about unlimited 1 March, and so my 2nd March I would get if I was gonna do a second, or if I was gonna do a different March than this. The 2nd best March I think you've got is still the old tried and true Nevsky Joe, straight up. I mean, it's just so good. It's not even that far off from the first one. So that is also another good cavalry march. I think it's the 2nd best cavalry march you could get. And then if you said, hey, you need to go with a 3rd cavalry march, not necessarily a 3rd cavalry march, but hey, what's the 3rd best cavalry march? Then what I would do from there is basically say, okay, I can go with Huo and Nevsky. That's awesome. It's single target, okay? But you nuke when you have these two going together. It is absolutely great. And then if you said, hey, you're going with, I'm not going to use any of those 3. I'm going with another cavalry march, and you're going to rank it, I would say Joan with Beli. Okay, that's my jam. And part of the reason why, for whatever reason, Joan isn't targeted as much as she should be in the field. And Beli's great with his all damage debuff that we'll talk about here in a second. Let's go ahead and call this the 4th March. And those are my best marches, if you will. Okay, and notice that Joan shows up here 3 times. So if I was gonna invest in a commander, I could just get 1 cavalry, I would get Joan, straight up. Because you can put her with a lot of people, you can do a lot of different things with her. She would be the best investment today, you know, November 5th, 2024. We have new cavalry coming out eventually with the 10th generation of commanders, but she's the one I would go invest in. Okay, so get a good screenshot of that, and let's go with that. That is my unlimited ranking if I'm just doing one march. Okay, and so next let's go unlimited 2 march. Now the difference with this, okay, is that now I have to bring 2 marches, so they have to be different commanders. Okay, so let's talk about that. We'll bring everybody down here. And how are you going to set this up and run it? Okay, so let's bring them all down here. And first and foremost, I would probably put Nevsky and Joan as my A1 march I'm going with. And then I'm going to run Huo with Beli. Or in some cases, people like to do Huo with Nevsky and Beli behind Joe. That might be your best 2 ways. But these are the 4 commanders I would run. However you want to split it up. If I'm just going 2 march unlimited, okay, unlimited, I can run anybody I want, and I'm just bringing 2 at the same time. Here's what I'm running. Okay, so get a good photo of that. That's exactly what I want to do. Now, a lot of people will ask, why do you have Beli over William? Now, the conventional wisdom here is that William has been so good and is still great today. He really is great, okay? But Beli hits extremely hard. He hits extremely hard. He does some rage debuff, which is amazing. He does some different attributes here, tons of march speed, tons of attack bonus. His exiting combat march speed is off the charts, 60%. You get out of trouble and you're gone. They ain't catching you. Okay, his defense is good. He's got some additional direct damage, which is wonderful. So just tons of damage. He does do a skill damage reduction, which is great. And then he has a bonus to skill damage. Okay, the troop has an 80%, less than 80% units remaining. This commander deals 30% more skill damage. So as you start losing your HP bar and you start losing troops, your skill damage goes up. It's wonderful. And then this is the kicker right here. This is it. This is the skill that makes him go. Okay, if you're running 4, 5, 6 marches, 7 marches in the field, you have to have Beli. That's the argument against William. Because when you're surrounding a troop, this is an instant proc, which basically means this instantly is applied, and it's applied perpetually. The second Beli hits a march, if you got 3, 4, or 5 or more marches hitting the same target, you're getting 12% damage with 5 or more, 9% damage with 4, 6% damage with at least 3. So it is a massive skill. This is all damage. Okay, if you're in the murder ball fight and one of those strays from the enemy comes into your ball and you target it and all your friends target it, everybody gets the advantage. Everybody takes advantage of the 12% all damage, and targets absolutely melt. This is why he is good. This is why I choose him in a lot of ways above William. Now, William still does so much, guys, and he's also a good one. So we're going to talk about William, because a lot of people don't have Beli and are trying to figure out if they should invest in him or just stick with William. William still, we reviewed this guy's kit 1,000 times. It's been around forever, and it's so good. The bloodline stuff is amazing. The defense, the defense buff that you get, he can't be affected with a skill damage debuff. It's absolutely insane what this guy is able to do. He provides the rage. He does all kinds of different stuff, and it's so OP what this guy's been able to do for so many years. So he's still got a lot of value. Okay, so don't think I'm hating on William. And there's ways to use William in certain facets in the game. But if I'm going unlimited, let me see here. If I'm going unlimited 2 march, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. Now let's say we're going to roll unlimited 3 march. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. Okay, so let's change this up here. We'll go unlimited 3 march. Okay, and from there, let's see. You go unlimited 3 march. Okay, so now you're bringing this guy into play. Okay, so how are you going to run this? How are you going to figure this out? Okay, well, if you're sticking to skill damage, you bring this guy off the bench. We cannot wait to get rid of him. XY. Can't wait to get rid of him. 2 glass cannon. He fires off fast. He does damage. He does a lot of damage for the troops that are behind him, or the march that's behind him, or I should say for the commander that's behind him. But at the same time, how do you run this? Do you run it like this and this and this? No. And here's why. You put XY behind Nevsky. And let me explain something to you about that. XY and Nevsky work really well together. And more than anything, it's because of this. Okay? First of all, Nevsky does provide a health bonus of 20%. great. Gives XY a little bit of tankiness, but this is the main reason, okay? Whenever this troop is hit by a basic attack, the cavalry units in their troop have a 10% chance to gain 30% health for 3 seconds. So the minute he's focused, you got 3 or 4 marches targeting your XY, he instantly becomes tankier, okay? Especially when multiple marches are hitting him. And that's not to stay in the fight, that's to get out of trouble. So you immediately become really tanky. 50% health you get for 3 seconds, okay, with the 20% he already has. And you can get out of trouble. It's the best way to keep XY in the fight. Nevsky really helps amplify that and really helps XY. So that's why I always say when you're running 3 cavalry, you put Nevsky behind XY. It's the best way to get XY on the field and not let him get absolutely murdered and crushed, okay? So from there, I would put William behind Huo and Beli behind Joan. You could switch these two up a little bit and put William behind Joan and Beli behind Huo, but I think William, this is the way I would run it. This is the way I would do it, okay? You want to keep Beli in the fight as long as possible. If people see these 3 marches, they're going to hit the XY first. They're going to hit the Huo second. They're going to hit the Joan third. That's how it's going to be. So you want Beli to stay in the fight as long as possible so all of your marches benefit from his all damage debuff. So that's your, take a picture. That's your unlimited 3 march tier list. And so that's exactly how we're going to do this one, okay? And so from there, let's go ahead and reset this thing. Have these guys here, here, here. So now we're going to get into some specifics, okay? Since Beli is probably the most rare, I would say, we're going to say no Beli 3 marches, okay? Or we'll start with 2. You don't have Beli and you're running 2 marches. It's pretty simple and easy, guys. You don't have Beli, you're running 2 marches. Here's what you got, okay? You're going to bring your Huo, you're going to bring your Joan, you're going to bring your Nevsky, and you're going to bring your William, okay? Now, what you're going to do with this is you're going to stick with Nevsky, Joan, too many synergies, and you're going to put William behind Huo, okay? If you want William lasting a little longer, then you set it up just like this, okay? But those are the 2 marches you're going to use when you don't have Beli Prime, okay? You can mix and match and do whatever you want, but these are the 4 commanders you're using, straight up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? So now let's go to 3 marches without Beli. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. How are we going to do this, okay? So we're into 3 marches without Beli, and how we're going to do this, oh gosh, it's brutal. You got to take this guy and you got to bring him on the field, okay? And the reason why you bring him on the field is because he's the only other thing you got, and you've got a lot of calves, and this is what you want to do. You don't have Beli, so here you go. How are you going to play this out? There's a couple of different ways you can do this, okay? If you have Justin, you can put Justin behind Huo, or you can put Justin behind Joan. So you can use Justin. That's one way to do it. I'll do it like this, so you can take a screenshot, or you can even bring an amplifier like Honda if you want to. You put Honda behind Joan. You can take him out. You can have Mina. You can run Mina behind Joan. There's all kinds of different ways. Guys, Mina still provides so much to the field, even as an old commander, because his museum buff gives 30% attack and 30% defense. So you can still use this guy. You can use Mehmet if you want to, but if I had my druthers and I had everything but Beli, I would run this right here, just like this. That's how I'd do it, okay? This would be a great swarming march. This would kind of be an okay swarming march. This is more AoE. This is a great swarming march, okay? So now you got a couple of good swarming marches. You don't have Beli, and you can go make 3 marches work, okay? Let's go ahead and pull this down and pull this down. Do everything that we can here. I'm going to add a couple of commanders real quick to the files. I've got this. Where is my guy here? Looking for him. There he is. Okay. And so now we're back up to here to kind of take a look at this. Okay. So next we're going to go no, let's see. We're going to go, you don't have, you do not have Huo. So what do you run? Let's go no Huo. Okay. And we're going to go 2 marches. Okay. So this is how I'd run it. If I had no Huo, with 2 marches, okay? And I'm trying to make this easy so everybody can just take screenshots, send them to your friends, send them to your buddies. I'll have a guide in my Discord. By the way, my Discord description or my Discord link will be in the description. You can join that. I always put these guides up and I always give you visuals of them so you can share them with anybody you want. So no Huo, okay? Well, what do we do? All right, well, let's go ahead and put Nevsky and Joan up here, okay? And then from there, we've got William. Let's see, we've got William and Beli. How do we want to run this? Okay. Well, for me, it's pretty easy because you want Beli hanging on as long as possible. For whatever reason, Joan doesn't get targeted. That's how I would run my no Huo 2 march. Okay. It's exactly how I would do it and how I would probably get the most value out of it. Okay. Now, this is where it gets tricky. We go no Huo 3 march. Okay. Let's see. A no Huo 3 march. Who else are you going to bring on this field? Oh man, you know, for me, I always love to do this. That's an easy plug to keep XY off the field. But let's just say for purposes, hey, I've got 3 good wedge sets. I want to run skill damage. Okay, this is how you would essentially do it. Yep, you're going to bring this guy back on the field, and anytime you see XY, you got to put Nevsky behind it. You have to. You absolutely have to. And then from here, I would run this right here. The only time I'd put Beli, take him away from behind Joan in those situations is if you're running Justinian primary. He brings some tankiness. Beli brings some tankiness. This is going to be the last thing that's hit. Okay, in this order, if anybody sees these marches out there, they're going to hit this one first, they're going to hit this one second, and then they're going to hit your Justinian. So keep Beli in play as long as possible. That's exactly how I would do it if you didn't have Huo and you wanted to run 3 cavalry. Okay, now we're going to go to the next phase. Okay, the next phase is really difficult. And it's really kind of rare, and you should probably only stick with 2 marches. But let's see here. Let's say, for instance, you've got no Huo or Beli. Let's see. You guys get my typing skills out really, really good. So no Huo or Beli. What are we going to do? Okay. Well, easy thing. Okay, let's put these up there because we know we're going to run these. We don't have Huo or Beli, so we've got William. So now we've got to run XY. Okay, so then you're going to run it just like this. Let's see. Put him down here, put her up here in front of William. That's exactly how you're going to run that. Okay, 2 marches, no Huo or Beli. You don't have either one of them. This is how you would still run it. Okay, and this still does just fine. Now, this guy's not going to get you the trades that you want or that you're used to with some of the other cap commanders, but if you play this right, Nevsky provides that tankiness for him, and it works out really good. Okay, so now let's get really crazy and go 3 marches. Okay, if I'm in this situation and I'm no Huo or Beli and I'm running 3 marches, this is what I'm going with. Just put those 2 guys on the field if you have to run 3 calves. Okay, now here's the other difference. If you do put these 2 guys on the field, just remember, okay, and this is something we're going to talk about just a little bit. So, a lot of players are starting to give more life to Takeda, and let me tell you something. Takeda will continue to get more and more life breathed into him. Because if you use smite commanders, and if the next infantry commanders that come out after cavalry, they put another smite damage commander on the field, you love this. The burn effect for the target to take 50% more normal damage for 1 second. Okay, there's only a 2-second cooldown on this. I ran this because I run 4 smite commanders on the infantry in my field for my main. I run 4 smite commanders. Okay, so I want this as much as I can. This thing would fire off on average about once every 6 seconds, and more than 50% of the time, the majority of the time, one of my smite commanders is firing off when this goes off. Okay, and it's wonderful. So you can add some different things to your murder ball if you're running smite commanders. Just Attila Takeda just gets a little bit more valuable. So just remember that when it comes to this stuff. Okay, so that's probably how I would run 3 marches without Huo or Beli. Okay, another way you could do that, pull these guys off. You could bring this guy in. You can maybe run Justinian with him and do it like that. That's a crazy swarming march, you know, with the warlord skill on Mina. It's still really, really good. You could do it that way as well. So I give you kind of 2 different options if you don't have Huo or Beli and you're running a bunch of calves. Okay, we're gonna pull this down. Now we've gone through all those scenarios, and Let's see. Okay. And so now we're going to say unlimited 4 marches. Okay. 4. Okay. Let me go ahead and do this right, just so everybody can get it. Okay. So we're going to run unlimited 4 marches. Okay. Now this is really, really rare. Those of you who are doing this, you guys are crazy, just absolutely nuts. Okay. But if we're going to run that, we're going to probably put this here and this here. Just set that and forget it. We're going to put this here with this guy. I always like to run Joan here and here. And then from there, you're going to run this guy with this guy. Okay. That's the best 4 marches. If you have to run all together, that's what you want to run. Okay. And so that's the way I would run it. If you said, hey, I don't have Attila Takeda, I never invested in them, it was not worth it to me because they were already getting old, then you set these guys aside, then you bring in this guy and you maybe run Mina behind him. Okay. Or you could do some things if you want to. You could do this, or you could maybe pull this guy behind here. You could put Honda behind Joan. You could do that kind of stuff, but more importantly for me, this is what I would do. You go Attila Takeda. Attila Takeda, even to this day, guys, always trades well. Always trades well. Now, it doesn't do as much damage as these other marches, okay? But you rack up the Sev wounds, and you always trade well with Attila Takeda. So there is your unlimited 4th march. Take a photo, and that gives everybody an idea of exactly how to do it, okay? And the last thing I'm going to do is your, let's see, investment tiers. Okay, so this is your investment tiers. I've only got 5 tiers here, so let's go through this. I'm gonna pull all this down. Okay, first and foremost, if you got 1 commander and 1 commander only, you have to invest in for cavalry. We go back to the unlimited tiers that I did for the unlimited marches, and Joan was in 3 out of the 4 of them. She's the first one you invest in, okay, in my opinion. From there, Joan's the next one you invest in, okay? From there, Nevsky, then Beli, then William. That's your tiers of what you invest in, okay? These two got to go together, but you can, the reason why Joan is first, because you can put just about anything on it. You can put Honda behind her, you can put Justin in front of her, you can put Mina behind her, you can do a lot of different things. And even Mehmet you can put behind her. You can do a lot of different things with Joan. She's the first and foremost commander you invest in. Okay, and if you don't believe me, she's just too good, guys. She's in the field. She's way too good. This damage factor is just like the 2003 target damage factor. That's a Guan category. That's CPO. There's a lot of commanders that do the 3 target 2000 damage factor. Okay, and then they have the 15% reduction. Okay, which isn't ideal. It's not great. But what does she do from there? Well, she's going to give extra damage to 3 nearby friendly troops, and you're going to gauge 20 rage per second for 3 seconds. Okay, so that's like a little bit of a boost, a little shot in the arm. Okay, so she's got good buffs that go with that. Her attack bonus is good. She's plenty fast. Outside of territory, you get triggered mark speed. That's 20%. You got a normal damage bonus of 5%. That's good. She kicks out a little bit of prickliness, just a little bit. You do 5% more damage with your 3rd skill. This is the one you can skip if you're trying to budget this. Okay, so there's all kinds of different ways to do this. The normal damage bonus that is really good for her. You can even put her sometimes, guys. I like to put Luce with her. I know it sounds crazy, but if you put Luce with her and you throw some arch formation stuff on there and an artifact KVK, it's pretty good. Especially if you can get this 1 second to fire off while Luce, it's really hard to do, but to get Luce's active skill going, okay? The cavalry health bonus is great, and then she gives the 100% chance to proc that sacred banner. This is why she does more damage than just about anybody in the game, okay? Because she's going to run this up to 3 targets, and then she's going to do it again every other skill cycle. So over the course of a couple of minute periods, she's going to do as much damage as anybody in the game. That's why she's so important. Okay, she grabs some counterattack, and then you deal 5% more damage with troops with more than 30% units remaining. Okay, so most everybody's going to have 30% or more units remaining when you engage in the fight with them. So she's going to add just extra damage. She does these all damage. She was like the first commander that started doing these all damage buffs. All damage here. Okay, where's the other one? Let's see, normal damage. You got probability here. 5% more normal damage, all damage here, all damage here. Okay, so that's really where a lot of that started, and that was a trend that set. Eleanor does a lot of all damage. A lot of these different commanders now have all damage buffs they're doing. So all damage becomes a lot of fun and really, really good. Okay, so let's come back one last time to a tier list, and we're going to say budget tier list. Okay, and so if we're going to say budget tier list, okay, budget tier list, you're coming out of SOC. Okay, and if you're coming out of SOC and you're trying to figure this out for yourself, okay, Mina's probably the easiest one. Okay, so he's a budget guy. Okay, William 5511 is a budget guy. Okay, Joan 5515 is a budget commander that you can run. Okay, so there's a lot of different ones that you can do coming into SOC. Let me go grab this guy here. There's one other one that you love to look at and talk about and utilize, and that he's kind of he's a gold key commander and he's easy to budget, and that is our boy Mehmed. Okay, and Mehmed does this. He's actually really, really good at being able to put behind some things. So if you're just getting into SOC, you can say, hey, I went ahead and invested. I've got Mina. Okay, well, boom, you can put Mehmed behind Mina, and you can go run that. Mehmed with the Museum Relic, Mina, if you run these two, and they both have Museum Relics, you got 30% health coming from Mehmed, 30% defense coming from Mina, 30% attack coming from Mina, and then you get more skill damage coming from Mehmed. It's massive. It is so, so good. And then you can say, okay, well, I'm going to run William 5511 and Joan 5515. Okay, that's the easiest way to go get marches on the field and budget that out. Okay, and actually have these marches do some work for you in SOC when you get there. So those are easy ways to say, hey, I invested in Mina. What kind of budget can I set up with to get my calves on the right path? Well, you start running Mehmed, you can run him 5511. You put him behind Mina, great. You can get Joan 5515. Okay, you save a bunch of gold heads doing that. You can get William 5511, and then eventually get him to 5551. But I wouldn't invest in Mina over some of these other commanders, or I'm sorry, I wouldn't invest in William over these other commanders today. However, if you can get him 5511, you can use him. I mean, you can actually still use this guy. It's crazy. And so that's kind of your budget tier list, and that's one of the things you get into. There's all kinds of different ways to do this, and that's what I want to show for you guys. If you like the videos, subscribe, hang out with me, join my Discord, engage in the conversation. We're having a great time with it, and I can't express how much I appreciate everybody for their feedback and all the response from the videos and the live streams. It should be a lot of fun, okay? And that's the way it should be. It's a mobile game. Anybody knows me, I'm all excited. I get fun, have a lot of fun, and get really excited, and I like to make this thing lighthearted. And so with that being said, if you like the video, like and subscribe. Check out more videos as they come out, and we hope you've been able to get a little something from this. And with that being said, we'll talk soon, broskies.